Guys, this week I decided that I was going to pit the W990 against the T880. And let's see who comes out on top. Spoiler alert, it's this one. Hey guys, it's Josh at Kenworth of Richfield, and I want to thank you for tuning in again this week. Always appreciate you guys when you come back. We're going to look at the T880 and W990. Now, another spoiler alert here. The reason why I started the intro the way that I did is that's how this one's going to end up. So if you're looking for me to say this one's better or that one's better or whatever, just stop watching now. But if you're looking to figure out what's going to fit your needs better, then this is the video that you're looking for. Because these two trucks have a ton in common. And yes, I'm gonna go over the stuff that they have in common. Ooh, a butterfly. I get distracted easily. I'm gonna go over the stuff that they have in common first, so we can get that out of the way, and then we can talk about the differences and where each one's gonna shine. So, without further ado, let's do some B-roll like normal. Let's dive into this.
Everybody get up. Everybody get up.
Let's start with the overall framework of the truck. Whether I'm standing here or back here, these two trucks you can spec pretty much identical. This one's got the AG400, that one's got the AG460. Once again, you could put either one of those on either one of these trucks. The same thing holds true whether it comes to the wheels, axles, tires, frame rails, fifth wheels. It's the same. Now, I know you guys were upset about me for spending so much time on this with the W990 versus W900 comparison. So let's just go with the bottom half of the truck. For the most part, it's exactly the same. So the next part we're covering, the cabs and all the stuff like those traditional Kenworth mirrors that I talk about that I usually hang from. Now, the cabs are the same 2.1 meter cab. Doesn't matter which one of these trucks you pick. These are the same. When you look at this body line, this panel's slightly different, but overall, it's the same. The door is the same. So when it comes down to it, the cabs are very much the same too. Now, where the W990 sets itself a little bit apart in all this is the fact that you can get that limited edition interior with this. It's a nice upgrade, and I'll definitely say if you're looking for something that's gonna look and feel the best out there, the 990's limited edition interior is definitely the way to go on it. But if that truck was painted Viper Red also, and you just took the cabs off and set them next to each other, once again, they would be pretty much identical. Which that brings me to my next point. What is the difference besides just the way the hood looks? Now is where we're gonna get into some of the fun stuff. So once again, back at this nose-to-nose shot, when you look at both of these trucks, there's a lot that's different right up in the front right here. Now, starting at the cab and working our way up, just to throw you guys for a loop, this has the nice big chrome air intake where air actually comes in through the front here. This Once again, it's still a shielded air intake, but it's molded into the side of the truck. Now, the way this hood is angled, it's actually, the grill's narrower by quite a bit than the cab. So there's actually high pressure air that's running along here that goes straight into that air intake. This actually sticks off to the side and is meant to catch a little bit more of the air. Now you can see straight through it, so it's not just this giant parachute hanging out there, but it does direct a little more air to that air intake in there. So if I take the half step back, there's a big difference in hood height. Now obviously some of that translates into radiator cooling capacity too. If you need the higher capacity, you probably need the W990. Ooh, you guys would have killed me if I would have stayed with that one. So let's take a look at this from the ground, and you guys are gonna laugh because I'm not even gonna be able to reach it. I'm about 82.5 inches. Let's do it in the right spot. About 69.25. That is quite a difference. Now, this is where it comes into that toss-up between these two trucks for you. Do you need the visibility? Or do you need the cooling system capacity? If you're hauling heavy equipment, this may be the one to go with. If you need to see what's right here, this is the one to go with. So one measurement that's key in a truck is the center of the front axle to back of cab. We're talking from here back to here. And in these two trucks, they are very, very different. In the T880, we've got 74.1 inches. We go over to the W990, 99.75 of an inch. So it's an extra 15, almost 16 inches that this front axle's forward. Now, one of the other parts about that is the bumper to the center of the front axle. On this, we've got 31 inches. On this, we've got 48.4. So what does all that mean for you? There's a couple of things in this actually. When you look at the T880 over here, this setback axle makes maneuverability a breeze because this allows us to keep the wheelbase that much shorter. If we can get the front wheels an extra 16 inches back, that we can knock 16 inches off the wheelbase, that really, really, really gives you some great maneuverability just in shortening up that wheelbase. So why would we want to make it longer like this? Well, there's a couple of reasons in this. Is A, maybe it's bridge requirements. B, you get a much smoother ride out of this. So if you spend most of your time on kidney beater roads and don't really turn around in tight places, well then, this is the way to go. The nice thing about them is the W990, for as long of a wheelbase as it is, really has great wheel cut. You can turn that thing sharp, but not as sharp as that. So when it comes down to it, what is the advantage of having the front axle as close as you can to the front bumper? Well, there's a number of them. Obviously, the longer wheelbase and the ride you get with that wheelbase is a big one. The other one is you can get a tapered bumper like this on this truck. Off-road situations, approach and departure angles can become a key. And when you bend bumpers, that can become expensive. So if you get the tapered bumper on this truck, obviously it won't be angled back, but it will be tapered up here. That allows you to hit something at a harder angle here and not do any damage to the truck. So there's benefits to both of these depending on where you're at. When we take a step back and come to the headlights, they're actually swapped around on this. The W990 shares a headlight with the T880S, and that's partially because of where the tire sits on this. In order to get the reflector set up correctly and the light on it, you had to swap positions to make sure the tire doesn't hit it. Over here, we've obviously got plenty of room, so that's not as much of a problem. So something else that we're going to take a look at in this is the overall front bumper to back of cab, because that is also different between these two trucks. Once again, with this being more about getting you that long wheelbase and even weight distribution over it, we're at 132 inches according to my measurements on this. Over here, 122 and a half. That's a 10-inch difference. Now, what is in that 10 inches? Part of it is the engine in this. What Kenworth has done is they have taken the engine and moved it forward about 3 inches. That gives you a little bit better weight distribution and a little bit more space to play with back on your fifth wheel. Over here, it's in there pretty tight, so you don't have as much leeway with that. Once again, that just goes to show that if you're hauling heavy, the 990 is the way to go. If you're willing to do a little bit more work in terms of figuring out that sweet spot, 880 will do it just fine though. So I know it's in the shadows, so it's a little bit tougher to see, but the front bumpers on these trucks are dead even. There's no added space in these trucks, and when you look, there's about 10 inches of difference here. When you're trying to get in and out of a tight spot, that 10 inches can make a big difference. If you're also going down a rough road, it can make a real big difference. Just ask my back. You guys know I take a lot of pride in being able to park trucks close and being able to get things pretty well spot on. It's that precision driving that has always kind of intrigued me. In fact, it takes me back to episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard. Growing up, I always wanted to be a stuntman / stunt driver. Boss has a tendency to frown on it when I do stunt driving things with these, but nonetheless, it gives me a second to talk about one other quick point in this. And this is really for all of you Ultra Shift haters out there. I didn't get out and look. I just backed the truck up and figured out where the front bumper was. I'm within about 2 inches of the front bumpers being perfectly flush with each other. I had to ease it back into that spot. Now, a lot of you talk about how you can't be accurate with an Ultra Shift transmission. I parked this truck first. It's an 18-speed manual. I moved this truck into position. This is the one that I had to line up. You know where this is going. It's a 10-speed Ultra Shift. Just saying, guys. Really why I did this, though, is to show the differences in front areas between these two trucks. You've got much better visibility with this. You're more aerodynamic with this. You've got a lot more cooling capacity with this. Now, in the same sense, if I'm pulling up to something, let's say I'm gonna park right next to a wall. With this, I gotta say you do lose the front end a little bit. I don't know exactly where it's at. It takes a little bit of a guess as to how far out it is. You know that about 3/4 of an inch in front of that, that's where you need to stop. So it's two very, very different front ends on this. And as you look at the bumpers, you can see this is the type of tapered bumper that I'm talking about you can get on here. So let's do the quick summary of who should be doing what. If you're looking for ride quality, maybe you're looking for that approach and departure angle that you can get from this. Maybe you're looking for just cooling system capacity. Well, this is your guy. If you're looking for turning radius, if you're looking for aerodynamics, that's your guy. There is a lot of crossover in terms of what these two can do. We've sold a ton of heavy hauler T880s. Yeah. We're even looking at some short wheelbase W990s. But what does it come down to? It comes down to the same thing that I said in the beginning. For me, it's my job to educate you about the options to help you pick the best one for your business. Frankly, I want a couple of each of them. kind of want it in that color for that truck though. The comment that I made earlier about the Ultra Shift control. I've got an idea for a bit of a truck rodeo video. What do you guys think? If I should do that, put it in the comments below. If you've got another suggestion for me, if there's something else you'd like to see, hit the comments with it. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notifications bell. That way you get notified when we come out with the new videos. We've been pretty regular about them. Make sure you're up for the next one. Give us a like if you think you earned it. Actually, if you think we earned it, not you earned it. The sun's, it's hot. Nonetheless, as always, stay safe out there. Keep it rubber side down. I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.